agenda tonight? What's the name? Robert Gashia. Okay. Hello, sir. Hi, you on the agenda tonight? Name? You guys ready, Donna? Yep. Hello. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Can y'all hear me all right? Okay. This is the Village of Biscayne Park Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Monday, October 4th, 2021. It is now 6:31. Do the roll call. Edward Leyva. Present. Manny Espinosa. Yep. Okay, Gary Chartong, I'm here, as well as SV. The building department. So we have a big agenda tonight, and there's actually a lot of residents here. But so we're gonna actually, one of the things we have is our attorney, village attorney, Valerie is here to discuss discussion C. And I'd like to go ahead and take care of that so she can move on. After this discussion, we can go to the rest of the agenda. Sir, are you on the agenda tonight? Name? Minutes? Hi, Valerie.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Not
Not working.
Not really. I'm
I'll
making.
just project my voice.
Okay.
And if you have an issue hearing me, letting me know. As you know, we have before you what's going to be the proposed ordinance for first reading for the office park. Test. Because there's a lot of people waiting, I'll make my presentation concise, but essentially it provides that approved parking services shall not exceed 40% of the front yard. And the remainder of the yard is going to be either landscaped or green area. That would be a new requirement. It also specifies the types of parking surfaces and delineates what is prohibited based on the guidance that was provided by the board. So if there's anything in particular that you guys would like to discuss or take issue with so that I can bring it to the commission tomorrow for their consideration, I'll be happy to do that.
First off, I just want to open it up if there's any public comment on it. Anybody that'd like to speak to it? Mr. Keys, if you'd like to go up.
Test.
Quite a few items, but would like to know why the board or the ordinance is proposing elimination of limestone gravel for the gravel driveway material. Secondly, I'd like some clarification as to the size of gravel that is permitted. Is what we know is P rock, an authorized material. Typically, P rock purchased in Miami-Dade County is 3/8 inches. You're specifying 1/2 inch. And I wonder if your intent was to do that. And if so, why? In that general section of 5.6, we have a comment regarding parking of vehicles in the median. I don't really think that that's not being amended at this point, but honestly doesn't belong in that section. Doesn't speak about off-street parking. So I don't think it should be there. Unless we're considering that off-street. That would be a consideration. You know, we've eliminated the county standards, okay? And, you know, since there are things that may have been in the county standards that you have no regulations now to regulate. Again, clarification of the code as to just what a visitor space is and where it's supposed to be put. You have a chart requiring one in typical 3-bedroom home. To me, that seems to imply that it goes on the right of way. Overflow parking would go on the right of way, and that might come into play as you consider the next ordinance, which is going to be the right of way. Consider parking issue. And or you have to specify that you need to ensure that the village requires the visitor space on site to provide for that visitor space. One thing I think is worrisome is that you're requiring the same material and design.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keys. Are there any other further public comments on the proposed private ordinance, which which, just to give you a history, the board is consulting on. It's actually the commission that will be making the final, you know, to actually be considering and requiring this. So I'll go to the questions that are asked. So I'll start with that one. Valerie, the first one is the county standards. Why was the strike through of the Miami-Dade County Code and Public Works Manual? Why was that section struck out? I don't think that was something that was on our directive. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've never actually referenced. I don't think I've ever had a case where we've referenced back to the county ordinance. Do you want to sit there with the microphone?
Testing, testing. Testing, test. Please
So
speak
again,
into the
I will
mic.
defer to the board, you know, our recommendation, if you're not utilizing it, then to remove it, but if you are using it, then you can also keep it in.
Yeah. I think that it's come up before, the Miami-Dade County Code and Public Works Manual, is that I understand there's not actually a Public Works Manual, that it's something, it's kind of a fictitious thing that's out there that really, it doesn't exist. So, you know, we'll defer to you on that. I mean, and I'm gonna let the other board members have their questions in a second. I'm just gonna run through mine, if that's okay. And so, you know, that I will defer. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to have the Miami-Dade County reference in the code. To go to Mr. Keys's questions, I'll just run through them. The size of the gravel, we actually recommended 3/8 to, oh, my glasses are fogging up, 3/8 to 3/4. And it was the commission that actually set the 1/2 inch diameter requirement. So that's something that the commission set previously. So that's why it's in this ordinance. We again recommended 3/8 to 3/4.
And then just for-
Limestone, we just feel is a cheap, it's not really gravel, it's a treat, it's usually used for road bed that you put your concrete or your asphalt on top of. So we discussed it and we decided to strike that. Medians, I agree, it is, we are discussing off-street parking. But I do think that it was something that's actually, if it's not underlined or highlighted, it's something that was already in our code regarding no parking in medians. But there, you know, it is off-street parking, so medians are not off-street parking, so that there is a good point there. Visitor spaces, one of the reasons that we made the recommendation on visitor spaces is that, you know, with the larger homes or with the homes we have in the 40% rule on the front yard, sometimes it's hard to get 2 parking spaces and a visitor parking space. So the intent is that we can use a tandem spot behind one of the 2 required spots as a visitor parking space. Not so much that we want to encourage it out onto the right of way. It's just that right now, the way the code is written is that you have to provide 2 and then 1 visitor, or 3 and 1 visitor. And then even on the duplexes, you have to provide 2 with 1 visitor, 2 with 1 visitor. And it gets to the point where you can't accomplish that with the 40% rule. So that's was that. And then as far as the material and design, there's nothing, I don't believe, in the code that is written that says it can't be a combination of concrete and brick, a concrete or asphalt and brick, or as long as it's a uniform design of a materials.
If I may, for clarification, it'll say and/or, and that'll address the concerns. It'll be of same material and/or of unified design. So that'll be corrected between now and then for first reading, so that it's clear it could be either.
Okay, yeah, because that's, as long as it's a uniform design, it doesn't matter what combination, it just has to have a design. You can't just have one and then the other.
There was also a typo, since we're in that section, for 5.6.8 subsection C4. The last sentence, it said artificial turn, obviously it should be artificial turf. So that'll also be corrected. So
saw that.
the and/or on the material unified design, change the artificial turn to artificial turf. And then, of course, address what was always the original recommendation as to the size of the gravel as still remaining being the planning board's recommendation.
I think that, and also I think on, if you look at C, it does say all parking surfaces shall be of one material and of uniform design throughout, so it should
That's
actually,
where I'm saying I'm going to put and/or.
oh, and/or, so, okay. Okay, and then the intent is that as long as it can be any combination of materials, as long as it's a uniform combination. So,
Right, so or shall be of one material or of unified design.
okay.
So it's one or the other.
Um, I'll go back to E. E in the under surfacing. Again, the board has recommended many times, multiple times, I should say, not to proceed with true grid or any type of material like that. We recommended no. We don't believe it's a appropriate material for a residential setting, and also it's a very inexpensive, cheap material. So we want to keep a certain level of our driveways throughout a certain standard. So you have it in here. Again, we recommended no on that multiple times. Turf block is approved.
Yeah, but the idea is that we don't want parking
don't want
surfaces to
parking
exceed
surfaces
40%. So no, you can't put
40%.
turf grid,
Turf block or
turf
not?
block beyond the 40%.
Yeah, but the thing is the changes to the code is that 40% parking surface, period. So if it's turf block, it's not an pervious discussion anymore. It's a total parking surface of 40%. So that's why the recommendation now is to do it tandem or start allowing tandem spots for the guest. But the true grid has nothing to, it's not turf block. It's a different material. Just to clarify, under G, it says parking surfaces may be painted. We're not requiring the people to paint. We're just saying it may be painted. Valerie?
Correct.
Okay. And then again, on the 1/2 inch, we recommended the smaller gravel. I'm not sure what sealing of asphalt is. Is it just like a repainting of asphalt? Is that considered sealing? I'm,
That was the direction given by the commission.
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a technical term. If it's something that's ambiguous, then it's something that would have
It
to
just,
further
you know,
clarification for.
it would, I just think that asphalt you repainted. I don't know if that's considered sealing or not. Sander sure has joined the meeting. Sander, we're looking at discussion C, proposed ordinance for amending off-street parking.
Okay, is my mic work? Okay, great. Thank you.
I think that was my questions. Manny, do you have any questions for Valerie? Comments? No? Okay. Ed, do you like while Sander's getting settled, do you have any
Yeah.
questions?
No, I think you covered everything good.
And then
Okay, so-
Sander, I know you're coming up, you're getting the speed right now.
Well, Sandra looks through it, so basically I want to just kind of recap so that I know tomorrow when I go to the commission, it's really clear. With respect to the Miami-Dade County Code and Public Works Manual reference, what I could do between today and tomorrow is see if the manual actually exists, if it's something that's still operational and what it looks like, and then we could address that.
Okay,
Clarifying that driveways can be of one material or of unified design throughout, not and, it could be one or the other. The board is recommending against true grid or similar materials. The board has a recommendation for the diameter size of gravel to be 3/8 to 3/4, not the 1/2 inch. And to seek further clarification on what the sealing of asphalt means. It appears right now it's a little bit ambiguous of whether something as simple as repainting or refinishing would be sufficient to address that.
okay.
Right, that would, the true grid, that was in letter E. We agreed that we were not gonna, that's the one that was more of like an industrial application that doesn't, right?
Yes.
Okay, no asphalt, right?
But Valerie put it in because of the commission had directed that I think there was some direction on the commission part, but we
Yeah,
keep
and
recommending no on that. So hopefully.
right, so
it'll-
I'll communicate that again tomorrow that the planning board recommends against use of that product.
Is that recorded?
You guys have there's like a typo on letter E, number 4, artificial.
Yeah, turf. Yeah, I caught that.
And this will come back after first reading, it'll come back to us again, you think?
We can.
Because it could be they might add something that we want to have a
Yeah.
comment on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Tanner, unless you have any other firm comments, I think we're good.
No, I think this reflects, everything that we discussed. Looks good. And with the comments that, I overheard you all making.
I don't think we're voting on this. I mean, this is just a comment, or do you want us, is everybody in agreement on the board?
And, recommend it subject to those exceptions, the ones that we discussed. And I could let the board know that.
Okay, Ed, can I get a motion?
You need a motion to recommend approval as amended or as per recommended amendments.
As amended, yeah.
Manny, second, all in favor? Aye, aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, so
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We appreciate it.
thank you. Okay. So normally I would try and take everybody that's here, but we have a lot of people here, so we're just gonna stick to the agenda tonight because it can get kind of confusing. So we'll come back to the minutes at the end. First is gonna be old business A, Dennis, 10931 Griffin Boulevard driveway. Hello.
Yeah, they have item Q. Maybe we can do that as well.
Sorry.
I said they have item Q, so maybe we can do that as well.
So we tabled this last time because of
Like pervious calculations. Yeah.
calculation draw. And then also we want to make sure it's all on your property, which you properly showed it here with the right of way. Okay, so they're at 39% on the wow, they all those calculations on the property, and they're at 36% on the swale. So, and it's all concrete with
Tess.
Go ahead and make a motion for approval.
Second. Yeah, I second it.
Yeah. Hard to hear.
Sandor, second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. All right. Okay, so we also have Dennis for Q, 10931 Griffin Boulevard, replace tiles.
Is that an existing porch? Or it's already included in the previous calcs that you submitted for the driveway?
And this is just, oh, okay, gray tiles with a gray house. And it doesn't add to your square footage, just to the existing porch. Okay, any question on the board? I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, that was Manny. Tanner, the Manny, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
One second, please.
There's no change to the pervious on this, so it's just coverage of what's already there.
Can you do me a favor? Can you actually go to the microphone? Because we have to keep a record of what you're asking, and you can't hear it from here.
Hello, can you hear me good?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we have a question on a street light that is in front of our property. It doesn't look like anything that would have been installed by the village. It was there when we bought the house. And we want to know what we can do about it. Can we remove it? Can we replace it?
Is it like a post light? Is that what you're
It's like a, yes, but it's controlled from the house.
Ed, can you see that? Is it a post light?
I mean, it looks like a small light that someone installed in their own yard. It doesn't look like a public, public works type light.
Oh, this is a private, what's your question?
They can remove it.
Yes.
Is it shown on the survey that they submitted as?
I don't think it show anywhere.
No.
So we don't want to keep it. And we want to know what we can do about it. Can we do we have to replace it with another pole? Or
No.
can we do like?
No, you can,
just-
this is on your,
On your own
so
property.
this is on your private property. You can, it's not,
on, what do
it's
you
not
wanna
a
do?
city light. It's not a village, I mean, it's,
Yeah, you landscaping lights you can do, yeah. But if you wanted to replace it with a new post light, you can do that too.
Okay, and we'd have to go through a permit process as well. Or,
Yeah, I mean, you would need electrical permit and, it's always good to run it by us. I mean, just to make sure. But it's a post light. I mean, there's really not
okay, so
a
I
lot of
can,
regulation on
I
it.
can do whatever.
As
I
long as you're
want.
not making like a structure or
No.
something,
No.
that's where it changes from a post light to something else.
Okay,
just, you have electricity there, so make sure that the electricity is in a safe, that you safe off the box and that it's weather tight and, it's done by a licensed electrician. A licensed electrician could take care of that.
okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, so next will be old business B, Ortiz, 11501 Northeast 10th Avenue, Ortiz, lot split. Okay. Oh, good evening, night. All right, Mr. Ortiz, how are you tonight? So what is different today than what was the last time you were here?
No, I just changed the width of the lots, because last time one was less than 75. And you told me that the minimum was 75, so I adjust them to minimum of 75, so to comply with
Okay.
the code.
Oh, you had it at 60 foot, 6'10", okay.
Right, I had no idea that was a minimum of 75. I thought it was 60.
All right, so, wish our attorney had stayed, actually.
Sorry.
You are in zone C. You have a, 6,000 square foot minimum lot, which you have a 6,750 and then 6,930. Detached dwelling, meaning dwelling size, lot coverage, all this is the same. 30-foot setbacks and then a 75-foot front. So you have a 77 and a 75. So so you're proposing two legal lots, which within our code.
Right.
But the question remains, and we need to speak to, I need to get some direction on this. Your structure, we can't divide the lots until the structure's gone, because we can't create two lots and have a house sitting on both lots.
No, I understand it, just to get
So
the,
I don't know what the process is of, like, the lot. I would understand that the lots would not be able to be legally separated until the structures are in compliance. But I'm sure you don't want to tear down your house until you got approval. You understand that the lot, that you're allowed to do what you're asking to do.
yeah, I mean, from what we discussed last time, I guess it's that you guys give me the approval, then I start the legal process and the demolition, or the other permit will be demolition and then divide the lots.
Yeah.
There has to
Only-
be some,
Tricky part here, Gage, is that we don't approve a demolition permit without a new construction approval. So in theory, that these two divided lots would be, compliant but there's an existing house that needs to be demoed first, and the house can't be demoed until there's a new construction approval in place.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can proceed then with the proposed construction and then the demolition plan, because this is basically already approved.
Um,
I mean, just to
so,
make
so
sure.
let me just clarify, what I'm seeing is you're within our rules, okay? I just
Right.
want to get some clarification on the procedure, because what I'd like to do is, we got to be able to say that, okay, our intent is to allow this person to divide his lots. But we can't legally divide them until the property is torn, the existing house is torn down.
Right.
But you can't tear down the existing house according to our code until you have plans for the new house.
I understand.
So you can proceed down that path of the new structures of designing what you want, because we won't be able to give you the demo permit until we know what you want to build on the lots.
Right.
So, but I just don't know what how the legal framework is that like, do we vote on it and say, okay, we approve this separation, but we can't legally say, we can't vote yes until the existing house is gone. Like, we can't create a non-conforming lot with a house sitting on two different lots. So I don't know. I can't, my point being is that, like, we want to say yes, but if we say yes, then you can say, hey, I got planning board's approval. I'm going to go down to the county and separate these lots.
No, I guess,
You
I guess there could be some sort of agreement that you guys would allow it as long as the proposed plans are approved with the demolition. And then once that gets approved, then I have to do the demolition, and then I can divide the lots, because legally I cannot divide the lots until the demolition. So it's,
Yeah.
I guess it's a process of administrative approval or something like that. And then I submit the drawings and we go step by step.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Any thoughts on the board, what I've just said? I mean.
No, I think, I agree with the thought process, which is that upon review, they appear to be, two compliant lots. Once there's no house, or at least once there's an approval for a new design on one of the lots, I suppose, we would be able to give approval for demolition, which he could then proceed with demolition, and then he could proceed with the other, legal steps to actually replatting that lot.
Right.
But I think it probably would be advised that we do have him consult with the city attorney first, just to make sure that we don't lead him astray either. And have him hire an architect, an engineer, and design a new house, and then, at some later point in the process, there's an issue with the replatting. We don't want you to go down that route, right? So.
Okay.
I mean, I went to the county, and because it's a city, they told me that as long as you approve it, there's no issue on county terms.
So, but again, we can't prove it until the house is gone. So,
No, I understand.
so
I guess I just wanted to say that I understand what the code says, and I would actually ask if there's any commissioners listening, or for the record, that this is something that I think is, personally, I don't think very good for the village. I think you have a nice 13,000 square foot lot, and I understand what our code says. But to take a nice lot where, a nice home could be built, especially with our setbacks and the way it works in this village, it's restrictive with our setbacks. It's restrictive with, we, all the time, people are coming in here asking for variances, and can we do this? Can we do that? I don't know what trees are on this property, but it's a constant push on the board to try and figure out how to solve problems where we have existing conditions with small lots. And here we have a generous lot that could have a nice home that would be great for our tax base and great for our village. And I would ask the commission to look at this legislatively, because I just don't agree with this at all. I understand that you're maybe as of right today, but I'd like to see it something that we do away with, because I think the village could use houses that are on larger lots, and we are constantly faced with that. So, I mean, that's just my comments for the record.
So what I'm going to say is, you're meeting the letter of the law. I would like to consult with the attorney just to know how we are, as a board, need to proceed with this. So if you want to start working on your preliminary drawings, I think you're within your right to do that. I would obviously not suggest going in all the way to construction documents or anything like that. I would come with some ideas, proposals, and let us, consult on them. But I just don't think there's anything for us to vote on right now because.
No, and to your point, to the chairman's point, when somebody wants to build a new house, we have what, 2 or 3 meetings where they have to bring that proposal to the board and we talk about it and we work through it. And so, I mean, I agree, there's nothing to vote on today. I've said my piece about whether this should be allowed or not, but at the same time, there's a process for actually building new homes in the village, that all of that, to me, should take place ahead of any sort of approval over a lot split, because as Ed mentioned as well, we kind of want to see what's going to be proposed here on
Right,
these
I don't-
new, very small lots.
And just by the sheer mechanism of things, that's what's going to happen, right? We can't approve the lot split while there's a house. We can't approve the demo without the design for the new house. So in essence, we'll have the opportunity to review what's being proposed before we get to a point where we can actually vote on
Yeah.
approving the lot split.
And I would encourage you could start with your ideas, your concept. And since you now have the required dimensions and all, I would like to consult with our attorneys and we can report back at our next meeting. I can have you put on the next agenda. And we can discuss this again in 2 weeks. So that we're not burdening you with, long delays or anything. And then we can have a decision on, or we can at least get some advice on what way we need to act on this. Because we want to give you the confidence that you can invest all this time and energy in drawings and things like that, not to come at the very end and say, oh, you can't do that. We want to be able to tell you up front what all the rules are, which we have, but we also want to, make sure that, we're doing what's right for you and what's right for the village on this. So.
Right, it's just that, I know the city was going against what they were calling Mac mansions, so either way, I cannot build a larger home because then it will turn into that sort of description. So that's why splitting the lot, it's sort of more common sense. Because if the city doesn't want large houses, then I could still do 2 average homes, like most of the lots in Biscayne Park. So I just, in terms of taxes, is the same. It's 2 properties, so I don't.
It
Like,
is, but
beyond-
it's,
beyond a personal
but
opinion,
it's
I
2
don't
additional driveway.
understand.
It's an additional driveway, it's additional cars, it adds to our density, basically. I think that's the point that Sandra was trying to make. But just to be clear on what you just said, the first of all, the McMansion ordinance, which, that's what it's called, is not enacted. It's not.
No, I know,
been-
it's just that
there's nothing's been enacted.
It was being.
And
a
also,
discussion.
you have a 13,000 square foot lot. I think that's what she said, Sandra.
Yes,
I mean,
13,680 square feet.
you can build a very generous home on a $13,000 square foot lot. We have a maximum lot coverage of 50%, which means house, pool, driveway, anything impervious. So there are room to build a big house on that property. Also, you have the right to subdivide it according to our code. And we're not trying to say that you can't, or we're not trying to, I think that was just giving you some opinions here.
It's just my feeling, but I guess to your point though, if you're proposing this because you feel like this is a response to the other ordinance that's being proposed, I would, that's a bit of a, we'd like.
no,
to-
I
If you
since
want
I
to
bought
propose
this up-
something that doesn't split the lot and you think could work and you feel like it would, maybe we can say, yeah, that looks great. And
I've been living here for 10 years, so it's not something new. It was always the plan. It's just that I never did it. So I know the community, and the reason why I'm doing it so I can stay here, forever and ever.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to take a
resident,
motion
so-
to table this and then we'll bring it back at the next meeting.
Yeah, a motion to table pending additional information from the city attorney.
Village attorney, okay.
Attorney.
Manny second. Manny second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much. All right. Archer, Building A, 660 Northeast 121st Street. This is for a fence. here. Okay, so replace fence. Around the perimeter, it's the entire thing. It is metal. Anybody see a size or height?
6 foot on the diagram,
Does it say 6 foot?
on the shop drawings that are included.
And then we see a color.
Yeah, I think it said white somewhere. I'm trying to remember, I looked at it earlier today.
Could we make a motion to approve subject to the chair's review of the color?
Yeah, I guess I don't see it now, so.
Or like, it's, I'm trying to see, is it wood or is it metal?
Replacing a wood fence with metal, yeah.
All right, what was that?
It says quality metal panels on the product approval
I see.
sketch. 6 foot high.
So yeah, I make a motion to approve subject to the color being either white or bronze.
If they want another color, they can come back. Motion. Can I have
A
a
second.
Ed, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Carries. Okay, next will be building Grunes, which I think they're here, 735 Northeast on 11th Street. New roof tile. Grune? Yep. There he is over there. Okay.
Speak into the mic, please.
So you're doing in the back, looks like. Correct, sir?
Yep,
You're
sorry.
doing the rear?
Yeah, that is part of the addition. So
And
we
what is the
try-
front?
The same white tile. I mean, different because it's all one, but it's basically the same.
Okay, so this is a flat white concrete tile?
Yep.
Does anybody have a picture of the existing roof? So we can confirm.
Yeah, as of 2019, it was a white gray tile roof, flat tile roof.
It's kind of dirty, but it's all white tile.
Motion with, as long as it matches, I mean, the front gets.
Was this,
Painted.
was this an addition that you're just doing a new
Addition is
roof?
on the back,
So this is, but you're only doing the roofing on a portion,
on the back, on the addition.
on the
existing
addition.
on
You're doing the
front is
roof on the
paint.
addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was the addition previously approved by the board?
Yes,
Yeah. So this is really just your sub permit as part, okay. Yeah.
it's just
So
formality, I
this
guess.
is really just a sub permit on an approval that we already gave for the addition.
But we didn't do the roof though. So.
Yeah.
But
A motion to approve?
I second that.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any Opposed? Good. Okay, Okay, so just to kind of move people along here, I know we got a lot of people waiting. Is there anybody for Columbres? No? Gerstein? No? Okay, so next will be, we're gonna come back to those. We'll come back to C, D, and E. So next will be building F, Paris, 846 Northeast 116th Street, new pool, spa, and deck.
Yes, hello.
Hello, sir. Have you started this? I noticed there's some,
No, we've
Looks like
been
a little-
to the board a couple times just for questions. So this is the time we finally submitted with the plans.
so you had come in before because you were right up against your lot coverage. Looks like
Right,
you
and
went
also
right up
we,
to
we asked
50.
questions about where we could put the pool equipment, et cetera. And also for decking material, impervious calculations.
I remember the discussion previously. The woman from Essig was on the call.
Right.
Yeah. For the deck, were we discussing sandset pavers or a wood deck at the time?
So we're going to do a combination. So on the drawing right now, what you have is what's going to be the tile deck, which will go up against the house. And you'll see a gap that I'm going to come back with the wood deck permit to fill in that space between the tile deck where it ends and the pool begins.
But
Okay,
for
so,
right now with the proposed pavers on sand in the pool, you're at right at 50%,
Correct.
correct?
okay. So you're counting those sandset as impervious for the purposes of calculations. The wood deck, we would consider pervious.
The wood deck would be impervious and the tile deck is, I'm sorry, the wood deck is pervious
Pervious.
and the tile deck is impervious.
Impervious. Okay, that's what I'm asking.
But the wood deck's not part of this this proposal?
Correct, it's not. I'll be submitting that shortly.
Okay, so you have a 14-foot setback in the back, 9 to this. 10-foot 5 to the water line on the side, okay. And then 34 the other, okay. The backers are good, lot coverage is good. Any other questions on the board?
No, so if it's pavers on sand, that's not also pervious? It would be.
Well, because it's not, I mean, the paver itself is not actually, it's not really pervious, the paver, so we don't consider it 100% impervious.
Gotcha. Okay.
It is technically covering the lot, it's lot coverage. So
All right. I just thought
Was
if,
it last time that
Code says-
the wood deck had enough kind of opening in the slatting of the wood deck that we consider that pervious for these purposes?
right.
The sandset pavers aren't really allowing much drainage.
Okay. I understand.
And the code actually says lot coverage.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
are you also doing that? There was like an overhead trellis
Yeah, I'll be
discussion
submitting
last
a-
time
a-
as
a
well.
Permit for we'll have,
So
it's
that's
gonna go
separate.
over that tile part, so it won't be.
And you're doing like the operable system again?
No, we're
or
just gonna do
no?
a cost wise, that's gonna be a little bit too much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next will be Building G. There, I know they're here, Brickell Key Estates LLC, demolition, and we have for the next one, H Brickell Key Estates LLC, 885 Northeast 11.
Good evening. Homeowner.
Back here, if you want to come over and look at it.
I hear you, but I'm of the opposite line that someone was savvy enough to find a property that was of the, they want to sell one to fund the building of their own. I respect that. But I-
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, it's the login. Yeah. It will take you to sign in. You're welcome.
Well, yeah, well, first of all, you're come back with us with the stuff. Get rid of this. The lot coverage, you're fine. We're not moving forward with this, right? So you want to keep the drawings. That you already submitted? Yes. You just, exterior demo permit. Yeah. That's the engineer needs to kick in, make sure that the flooring that's there is gonna support the tile.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this regard, I'm a bit more
So you're gonna take it out, so that.
libertarian and.
For application for that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
on-site demo permit, so really it's not.
What I feel is if we don't want this, then it we change. Otherwise, yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. If we don't like it, then don't permit it, make it clear. Don't have someone come buy property with the expectation they could do something.
So you can submit just the interior part whenever you're ready. It just doesn't have to come back to the planning board.
Push them in
So
the
however long it takes for the building department to reference it. But the bathroom and all that. 30 feet total. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Tiny, but it's what sector B or C, whatever sector it is. Yeah.
All right, next will be Resto. I think they're here.
Yes.
910 Northeast 117th Street, remove and replace exterior alteration. Hi there, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Removing. Is it planters and brick on the
Facade.
facade and window awnings, adding privacy screen and reconfigure walking using stepping stones and gravel? Okay. So. Okay, so the issue on this one is the privacy screen is basically a fence, and we
Yeah,
don't
it's
allow
just-
fences in the front. You're coming across in front of the house, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So is there anything decorative that we can put there? We sent a picture of what we're looking to do. It's
So it's this kind of trellisy
correct.
thing, okay?
I mean, I think this is a gray one. Gage, I agree that my initial response was, this is another way of doing a fence in the front, which we don't permit. I think maybe in this case, it would be helpful if there was an actual drawing of what you really want, as opposed to kind of, here's an example of something I like, but an elevation drawn by an architect or a designer that says exactly what you want to do, because, you know, essentially they could build a wall that's not a fence, and it could have breeze block or something decorative that creates the effect they're looking for. That's not a fence in, you know, the letter of the law, so to speak.
But it would have to fall under the setbacks. I
Ye-
mean,
Agreed. Yeah, they'd only meet the 30-foot setback.
from here, like, what is the setback to the front of the house and where does this go?
It's coming out 14 feet from the facade of the house is as
From
far,
the side corner, but the front of your house where the front door looks like it's at, it actually comes out further into the. towards the
about
street?
9 feet.
Okay, but is that from that front room to this, to your property line, is that 30 feet?
Yes,
30, okay, that's 30 feet, okay. So it would be a wall in the front setback, and so it would be, you know,
Yeah, it would have to meet the setback if they wanted to.
so,
so just for clarification, the picture is exactly what I wanted to do. So you're saying that is not permissible and we would have to do something similar but a little different. Can you clarify that a little bit for me?
I think Ed was speaking to the fact that you could do a wall if it was beyond your setback. I don't think we understood that your setback is 30 feet
Oh, okay.
to the front of the house. So you're proposing going out in front of that front part of your house. I don't know what that bump out is, but you're planning on coming in front of
It's
your
the
house
kitchen.
with this.
Mhm.
So I see what you're trying to do, and you know, there's nothing wrong with having a sitting area in the front of your house. But one of the things that is available to you now is planting a hedge.
Right.
So if you want to consider that, you could create your sitting area and you do a hedge. Our code allows hedges. You know, you'd be able to put and create the privacy you're looking for. And that hedge is not a structure, it's not a fence, it's not a wall. It's a planted thing.
Understood.
The issue becomes it's a structure in your front yard. Mhm.
Yeah. We have our drain field. Yeah, so we can't. Right. Another option,
I wouldn't feel comfortable commenting on that. But what I think I guess what we're saying is what I hear, at least from is, and I guess I agree with it, is if you, I understand this picture, you're saying this is exactly what I want, but you know, it's a picture and,
Sure.
you know, a drawing from an architect or a designer will have dimensions. It'll show what the size of the lumber is. It'll show what the size of the spacing is. It'll show the height. It'll show how it's attached. It'll show how it meets, you know, basic building code. You know, there's a lot that you would need to clarify anyway for somebody to execute on this.
Mhm.
So for your, you know, for us to be able to approve it, and I think for you to know exactly what you're getting, that would be very helpful. I think we've come up with a creative approach for you to have what you're looking for. But I think it certainly does deserve a little more articulation.
Correct.
It
It'd
has
have
to
to
be
be-
within the setback, because then you're essentially saying, I want to, it's almost like you're building a wall, you're building an addition to your house, whatever it might be. It's an appendage to the structure of your house. It's not a fence. And so that is why all of the rules related to structure come into play.
Fences are not permitted in the front. So we're trying to work with you in a way that we can interpret this to be something other than a fence. It's an architectural element as part of the house, but then in that case, it needs to meet that 30-foot setback in the front.
Well, I would recommend that you speak to your septic company because I can't speak to.
no, the
The other,
removal of the
the brick
awning.
removal and.
Yeah, the brick removal, the awning removal,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry. Okay, excuse me.
the
Yeah.
stepping stones.
So you can remove the planters, you can remove the brick, window awnings. You can reconfigure the walkway using stepping stones. We just need a calculation to make sure that you're not going over your 40% front yard, which we just need that calculation. Or at least make sure you don't have it here. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the pavers look like it's fine. But you between your driveway and the pavers, you can't go over 40%. The only thing that I'm looking at would be the privacy screen.
Right.
So if I struck the privacy screen, I think everything else looks okay, right?
Or
Yeah, I mean,
planters.
you can
You
put
could
landscaping in your front yard, a hedge, et cetera. Yeah.
Planters become a structure again, so you
Oh.
have to.
Okay.
You'd have to come before us and let us take a look at it. Because a planter could be 6 foot high, it could be 3 foot high, it could be 2 foot high. You know, it depends on what you're proposing. Typically, you know, we don't like a lot of things in the front setback.
Sure.
We try to keep it clear. But again, you can put a hedge in. It's you know.
Yeah, I
Close
just-
a hedge, gives
yeah.
you nice privacy in a couple of years.
But
So-
yeah, that's
so
what we're
on that
trying to
note,
resolve
though-
for, is that we can't plant trees or hedges because of the drain field. So
Well,
we're
but-
trying to do something else that gives it a curb appeal that's attractive and looks nice coming to the house without having, we used to have a beautiful, front lawn, and with the drain field, we're kind of limited in what we can do.
I don't know exactly where your drain field is. I would say that it's probably worth a conversation with your septic contractor. Did you put the septic field in? No, but did you guys put it in? You know exactly where it is?
Yes.
I'm just like, for example, at my house, I have a septic tank. I moved it to my front yard. I have Colusia hedges on all sides of it. I don't have a hedge running directly on top of it, but I do have it on the perimeter. And there was no issue. So I don't, but again, I'm not trying to say that it's okay or not. I was just saying that sometimes if the standard answer of just don't do it is because they're being careful. But if you actually know exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it, and you know exactly how it relates to your drain field, maybe there is a solution that could work for you.
Okay. Thank you.
So you need a motion to approve with the elimination of the privacy screen element.
So we would make a motion to approve this with the elimination of the privacy screen element, and they would come back to us for that if they want that with more detail.
Separate. We gotta figure that out.
So do you want us to table this, or do you want us
Well, they
to?
want approval on the other items. Yeah. Yeah, in the meantime, they want to do the other stuff.
Okay, so we'll make a motion to approve without the privacy screen. Okay, I'll make the motion. Oh, you did. Sorry, I'll second Ed's motion.
But just also pending.
Sorry, Ed.
Lot coverage calculations, yeah.
You just need to submit your calculation, please. Okay, so you'll need to do that before you, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Sander. Ed and Sander. Thank you. All right, so we have PRPBP LLC, 967-117 Street demolition, and BRPP.
Gage?
967.
Gage,
Glad you guys are here.
yeah, these guys have a discussion item at the end as well, and both of these are new construction, so they're gonna take some time. So I don't know if they would allow us to maybe move through some of the other people that are waiting that might have simpler items. I mean, because you're gonna be here till the end for your other item, right? So.
Well, it's
Well,
actually of the variance recommendation, but you still wanna.
Well, it's just that this is the new construction. It might take some time and there might be some lower hanging fruit to get through to let people go home and just a
if you don't-
suggestion, if the chairman approves.
if you don't mind, sir, because actually, when it comes to your variance, we have to talk to you because you're actually your next door neighbor is right here. And we need to talk because you guys have a shared garage that we need to figure out what's going to happen with that. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll just finish. I'm just going in order of the agenda. Rodriguez, 947-117 Street.
And Darte just came in. B&W. Speak into the mic, sir. Thank you.
This over here.
It's 947.
9-4.
Nine four seven.
It's an addition, yes.
Matter of fact, it already has this long jutting pool to one side. Maybe they knew they were gonna do the addition at some point in the future. Yeah, I've reviewed it before. Yeah. Good. Say that again? I think the village sent out an email that at the next, yeah. Roseanne, who's the village clerk, I think she sent an email last week. Yeah. Yeah, reach out to Roseanne. She just sent out, I don't know when, I know there's a commission meeting tomorrow. I don't think they're considering it that one, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no problem. I saw they sent out an email saying.
All right, I mean, there is requirements. I think you have to get an 18-inch overhang. And for the old one. So we're gonna vote, we'll vote on this, but not for the roof. The roof is not part of it. You have to come back for.
Distribute and when things change in your life.
Yeah. What I'm saying.
So that used to be where the. And it's a brick wall. So, move the AC unit. had to figure out- Oh. No, now why? No, I mean, I heard you mention already the inconsistent roof finishes. Oh, he's back there. No, I mean, I think it's a nice project. It meets all the setbacks. Motion to approve. Again, minus the roof issue, but.
I'll second with that comment. Yeah, they'll come back for roof and windows, yeah. And I guess they'll come back for roof, windows and paint, right?
Course, right? So-
Well, this is just a pre-approval. Did you provide your MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing? Okay, so it's going to them for review tomorrow. After they do the review, if they have any comments, we'll send you an email with the comments, and then we'll move it forward to our structural engineer. So that takes about 3 to 5 days from him to get back to us because he's outside because probably in the next 2 weeks because it's an addition, so it's take longer than usual. After everyone sign and approve, then our building official is the final approval. And then we'll invoice the permit so you can pay for the addition. Okay? Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
They look nice. They grow fast. The original.
No, but I just want to make sure because on the plan. All right. Is there a ward here? Ward? Okay. Yunez, I believe there's Yunez here, 971 Northeast 116th Street for pavers. Okay, so pavers in your backyard.
Test the mic for me, please.
Fine. Oh, here's the lot calculation. Still at 34%.
What's the purpose of the pavers in the far corner? The
The
far
purpose of
rear
the pavers?
corner?
Just a sitting area, like a sitting area, extra sitting area.
Can you hold it back 30 inches from the property line? We usually like to ask for any type of, not go right up to your neighbor's
There's
property.
already, yeah, I would do that. It's really, yeah, I guess I didn't draw that line, but yeah, it would be like at least like 3 foot away from the fence line.
We just asked 30-inch minimum.
Okay, that's fine.
So I would make a motion to approve, subject to the homeowner's agreement on the 30 inches from the property line on both sides of the property, on both property lines.
Second,
A second.
standard. Favor say aye.
We have a sample of what the paver is. Any idea?
Yeah, it's, I do have it at home. It's a white,
No, it's something neutral, unoffensive, I'm assuming.
yeah, I'm trying to
Okay.
think of the name of the actual, it's marble, white marble.
There's not pin
I have a
down, so it's
picture if you want.
approved. Just,
Sure, if you have a picture. Make sure they're not black or fluorescent pink or. If they're marble, or they, assuming they're rough, like they're non-slip. Yeah.
we good? Okay. Next will be Miles, 1130 Northeast 121st Street, after the fact door. So it's just a single hung front door. Did we already do the windows?
The windows already have we haven't changed any of the windows or anything.
I just noticed because it's a
It's
schedule. for
Yeah,
windows
it's
and everything.
confusing. Yeah, the application packet has a schedule as if you were doing everything, not just a front
14
door.
Yeah, 14 windows.
No, I
Alright.
have the two permits I'm applying for tonight are the after the fact door, and the door is not impact rated, so I'm applying for shutters for the door as well.
Okay, so back to my question, what we have here is a schedule that shows all the windows being done, 14 windows.
Okay.
That's not what you're not, none of that's
No,
being
I think I was a
considered.
little confused on the drawing. This is my first time dealing with
Yeah, and-
permit issues, so I made the drawing with all of the openings
I
listed.
I think it's, yeah. Actually, it says not applicable, actually, Gage, under the single hung door for 2 through 14. So I think he just made a helpful plan,
Yeah, I
and
made
labeled them all, but only number one is what's within this after the fact permit.
correct.
Do you intend, have you already done all the windows?
No, the windows they have shutters. We're not going to be doing anything with the windows.
You're not going to execute all these impact windows in the house? You're not going to do that?
Not at the moment, no. But
Gotcha.
we have shutters on the windows.
Just for the door.
I'm just gonna circle item number 1 on the schedule. That's all he's applying for, just so there's no confusion. Any question? I'll take a motion when y'all are ready.
Well, is this, sorry, I'm trying to see where in the package is that door? What does it look like?
I have a picture of the door here if you'd like to see.
Is it a glass panel in a aluminum door?
It's I believe it's a composite door.
Yeah, it's a fiberglass door. I think it says
Fiberglass,
somewhere.
yeah. Here, I have a picture if you'd like to see.
Looks like it's a single light door, right?
Single light. Somebody made a motion, right?
Leave it in motion, please.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve. I would just say for clarity's sake, can we remove all of those extra drawings from this package since we're not, they're not part of this approval?
What I did is I circled only the number 1, and I just put that's the only one approved.
Okay,
So
Maybe-
hopefully that means they'll be able to figure out that we're not, I can put a strike through if you like on all the rest.
I think, yeah, maybe something like that would be helpful, or just tear them out, maybe.
And for clarity for future permits, just include the drawing of only the piece that I'm working on, or the opening that I'd be working on.
No, just all these windows and all this.
'Cause
stuff
we
that
actually
We're not
were-
approving.
We're going to be applying for a new garage
Just
door
didn't want
soon
that
as
to
well.
be in the permanent approval package and create confusion, that's all.
So they're adding hurricane shutters to the, this is the next one, building E, 1130 Northeast 121st Street. So this is for
Agreed. But
hurricane
then he
shutter on the
has-
front door and garage door.
Fair enough. And then this is just the NOA for that door, so not really anything extra. And then same with the shutters, right? I mean, the shutters, he's got, one is applicable, 13 is.
So this is number 1 and number 13. Are you sure number 13 is the actual garage door? Or is it number 14?
No, I'm sorry for the confusion, but it's actually, this is all just pertaining to the front door only.
So the application here says hurricane shutters for front door and garage door using AMF building shutters.
Okay, I'm so sorry. That was, must have just been a mistake. We're actually replacing the garage door.
Okay.
With the hurricane, but we're still waiting on back order for that one.
So are you applying for a new garage door?
Yes. Not
Not
in this
tonight,
permit.
though.
I haven't applied in this permit though.
Okay, so
It'll come
right-
at a
so I'm gonna
separate time.
strike number 30, just any reference to the garage door.
Correct.
So it's only the front door.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Then the schedule says window 13, which is a small 18 by 24 window on the side of the house, in addition to the front door or the shutters.
Yeah, so that's why the confusion, but if he's just doing the front
Front
door,
door,
which is
okay.
number one, then that's all we're considering.
Okay.
We good on that? Take a motion. a second.
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to the discussion that we just had, the markup.
A second.
I mean, we like what you did. It's good. I mean, it's what we need, but it's a little too much right now.
Gotcha.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Both of them will go to our structural engineer out this week, okay?
Okay.
Dennis.
So I'm sorry, just a couple quick questions before I go. So the process to close the permit for the door is wait for the structural engineer and then,
Yes, the after the fact
yes.
door? Okay, so it will go to our structural engineer for review for pickup this week. It should be back by next week. Being that it's after the fact, it'll be double feed, the permit fee plus $100. Now for code, that's different, a different department. You will get a letter, a notice to appear for next month's meeting. When you go to the meeting, you'll address the board, let them know that you in the process of receiving the permit, or you have the permit already, depending if you have any comments or not. And it's up to the board if they will fine you, how much they will fine you.
Okay.
Okay?
And in reference to the shutter, how do I go about closing that permit?
For the shutter, it will go to our structural engineer as well for review. Once it comes back from our structural engineer, our building officials, the final approval. So once the building official signs off and approve on both of the permits, then we'll contact you for payment and for pickup.
Okay.
So we're looking more or less because structural it takes a little bit longer than usual than the other permits. Probably by the end of next week, in the next 2 weeks. Okay?
And one last question, as far as the hurricane shutters, because they're not a permanent part of the structure, do I have to install them and then have that inspected, or do I just have to have them on my property? What's the process for the
I think
shutters?
just also to go back to your previous question about closing your permit, because what SB is referring to is actually issuing the permit.
Mhm.
Then to close them, you'd have to get an inspection both for the door and for the shutter installation, because they'll inspect the brackets, the anchors,
Yeah,
even,
yeah, of course.
So to close your permits after they're issued in 1 to 2 weeks, you'd have to actually call for an inspection.
Right, when you're ready for inspections. Building
Okay.
inspections are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and are to be requested at least 24 hours before.
Okay.
Okay.
And so just again, to clarify, the shutters need to be installed when they're inspected.
Yes,
Okay.
they need to see before you, when you install it, you would call for the inspection.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You said Vittori's here?
Yes, yes.
Vittori? Okay. One second. Okay, so since it's on the agenda, I have to go in the order of the agenda. Vittori, 11600 Northeast 11th Place. This is for a new pool.
Step to the mic, please, to speak into the mic.
We had discussion about your pull previous agenda? Or,
Yeah, it was the pool and the addition, but I'm not doing the addition anymore because it's a corner lot, so I'm just doing
okay.
the pool.
This is for change tile on front porch?
Yeah,
your
there's
next one?
two, yes. The first one is the change tile on the front porch
New
and the
pool,
second
okay.
one is the pool.
Okay.
Which one are we doing now?
We're doing the new pool. So I let her,
Do you have the
B,
survey
B.
with you?
I have everything that's submitted. Is there a pool survey? I mean,
No,
yeah,
there's just a regular survey with the drawing of where the pool will be based on the setbacks that I have. So 30, 30, 10. And then my understanding is because it's a corner lot, it will be denied and then I have to present back to the commissioner, like the full plans of what the pool is gonna be. And with a variance package.
okay, so back to what we discussed the first time. So you have a 57-foot setback on that side of your property. So you're allowed to build up to 30 feet. So if you want to get closer than 30 feet to the side and 30 feet to the front or 10 feet to the back, like in that one triangle there,
Can I go see?
yeah. So you have 30 here, because right now you have 57 feet from here to here. Your setback is 30 feet. So you have this little triangle of land, 30 feet here that goes across, 10 feet here. So if you locate your pool within that, you don't need to go for variance. Yeah, because your pool is an accessory structure. Accessory structures have to meet the same setback as the primary structure, which is 30, 30, and 10. So if you could design your pool to stay within that little triangle, you don't need to go for a variance. So I don't see any other drawings here.
It seems like they don't need a variance.
Oh, here's something here.
Learning right now. For that little bit of curb, yeah, correct.
10 feet, 30 feet. So yeah, you're doing 37 to the water line from the 115th Street, what is that? 16th Street. 30 feet from 11th Place to the water line and 10 feet to the back. So
I
you
don't,
don't need a variance for this.
yeah, I don't think you need a variance for this. You're fine.
Yeah, so
That's what we do. We're in charge of good news.
you already have your fence there. So that's already, you have a fence around the pool. Yeah, which is, it's all grown over now, so you can't even see your fence now. So your fence requirement is covered. So we just need is this an actual application for a pool? Esme?
She didn't want to do the full pool drawings.
You guys seen this? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the computer here. It looks good.
Is everybody in agreement with me? The way
Yes.
I'm-
Totally agreed.
I got it right. All right, so then she needs to do an application for a pool. Or do we apply?
Can we just give her a site plan approval for the pool and then the technical documents can get submitted to the building department?
Do we make a motion to that?
A motion to approve a site plan approval for the pool?
I'll second that.
Well, I think what he's saying, what the intent is that we're saying this is fine, but you're gonna need to come back with the document. With the actual,
Is there any pervious?
because this is not an actual pool company.
You know,
This is a, like,
Look,
Not in-
just eyeball it for a
sketch.
second. I mean, she's way, well, I don't know. She has a lot of concrete.
you know, the gauge.
No, you just said you were the good.
I know. Jeez. Hey, Gage.
yes.
The one thing that to the site plan approval that we just did, I'm looking at it, we don't have the pervious impervious calculation. We would probably,
We don't actually have the application. We're just saying that what's been a site, this site for this pool is.
Yeah, it seems the location's fine, but we need you to do the calculations. Yeah.
There's a bunch of different, you have to meet.
No, you just need to come back to us with a full package for the pool. Yeah, well, they're not going to do the pervious and pervious calcs like I don't know, you or them, somebody's going to have to, there's other parts of a permit application that we'll need to review here at the board. But it's more administrative stuff. You can,
I'll send that to your email.
So you're good on the site. Do you want to take a motion on just the site approval?
yeah, so Ed,
The actual pool.
yeah, Ed made the motion and I seconded it.
Okay, all fair say aye?
Aye.
Okay. Now, the next one is change tile from front porch.
Do you have okay. Well, do you have a photo of it? I mean, as long as it's a neutral. Yeah. So it's a light gray porcelain tile that you're replacing your front porch floor tile with, correct? Yeah.
As long as you're not increasing the size of the porch and the porcelain's not bright pink, I think we'll be all right. Let's just, we'll wait really quick. I'll take a motion though.
Yeah, I'll make motion to approve a light gray porcelain tile replacing the orange or yellow tile or
Is she
paint.
gonna be able to carry that thing over here? Is it that big?
Well, I'll second it in advance of seeing it, but I'm sure it's fine.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let's see when it comes here. Let's see. Just if you don't mind hanging out for a minute. All right, so let's go to discussion B, Cohen. It's Cohen with an E. 11638 Northeast 7th Avenue, new pool. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay, so this is a discussion about this, putting a pool on the side of your house.
Yes, correct. That's the only spot that's viable for a pool on my lot.
Yeah.
It is 5 feet from my fence instead of 10. I think I'm gonna have to go for a variance.
Thank you, sir. Okay, go ahead. You're good, thank you. So you have a 10-foot setback, that's the thing.
Yeah, on the side. So I think I might have to go for a variance for that side of the pool. And I had spoken to my neighbor and he said he was okay with that, being the pool being at 5 foot from the fence.
Okay. So, here you go, Esther. So for a variance, you have to prove the 4 points of the variance. Because, first of all, as it is right now, you have a 10-foot setback, so it would have to be denied because you don't have the proper setback. So
Right.
you'd have to meet the 4 points of the criteria for a variance. You wanted to go that route. Having your neighbor say yes is not one of them, really.
No, I know. I
Uh-huh.
just,
And then also you might want to check on lot coverage, like Sandra just brought up. To make sure that if you wanted to go down this route, you would be asking for a variance from the setback.
okay.
And also to make sure that you're not going over your lot coverage as far as driveway, house, existing storage structure. And don't you have a shed and some other things back here in the back?
There is on the plans that I sent to SP, there is the shed.
I sent it to you guys, at 5.
Oh, okay.
That's the update. Sent to the board. At 5:12.
Okay. I didn't. hold on.
Well, it's here.
Okay, but it's
That's
it's
what
in
we-
here.
Yeah, that's what we provided.
Some of this one. So does,
This is what.
okay, because I just asked about the shed and or some other things that you have in the back.
Just a shed, but I mean, it should be on there.
Okay, I don't see it on any of the.
I
the
sent you
drawings right
another
here.
email with the plumbing of the pool, I think.
Yeah, we see it.
You see it? Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
This is all the
okay.
paperwork I have.
Okay, so this.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah, yeah, in the package that SB sent this evening before the meeting, it has it. There's a plan that shows it. It's the third of 5 pages. Says 1 of 3 on the drawing label. It's actually the third of 5 in the PDF, but
Here's the- I see a cross section of the pool. Anyway, point being is that you'd have to take in consideration all of that. Now, that's the existing, there's a non-conforming garage on this property. But I'm talking, but there's another shed that I thought we approved at some point.
Yeah, you guys approved an 8x10
That's
shed,
over
8
here.
by
That's in-
10
that's
shed.
in this area here.
But even with the shed and the driveway, there's more than enough room because the driveway is not that big and the shed is 80 feet, 80 square feet. So I think I would be okay for the pool. It's not a huge pool. It's a 9.5 feet by 24 feet pool.
I mean, if you could somehow squeeze it up closer to the house to 10 feet, you wouldn't even have to go through all this.
I know the problem is we don't with the kid because the kid's room is right there, and I just don't want her to open the door and go straight into the pool. You know, and I want to have enough room to have a passageway to get into the house,
Okay.
or else I would have done that. That was our first option. But when the pool company we use, they have this thing. It's a mat that they actually show the positioning of the pool. And he came over and he put it on in the yard, but it was like way too close to the house for like the kid. And we were like, whoa, this is a little too dangerous. to
Yeah,
have that
it would
close.
only be 4 feet away from your house, right? 4.5 feet,
Well, yeah, that's pretty close. I
very
think.
close, yeah.
I think.
Well, if you maintain the pool at 9.7, so I mean, the pool could always get narrower.
Skinnier. I
Yeah,
mean,
that it's already very narrow at 9.7.
yeah, I would agree.
But it's just, one of the points is that it's a minimum request. So,
It's actually the smallest size pool that they make is the 9.7. They don't even go lower. They make smaller sizes like on the lengthwise. I could go 24 feet, but that's not my issue. My issue is the width. And that's the smallest.
When you say what is this
fiberglass pool.
It's it's IPC fiberglass pool.
okay.
And they look pretty good. I mean, they look like you couldn't even tell it's a fiberglass pool. And when
Yeah.
we were like skeptical about
How does
fiberglass
it stay in the ground? Like, how does it not like rise up with?
Oh, they have this
water
technique. They
table.
form the ground beforehand and
Water.
the water, yeah, that's it. The water
There's
keeps
no,
it.
there's no piles underneath it?
No, there.
I mean, it's not that far in the water table, and once you fill it with water, that balances out.
Yeah, and then they fill in the sides with dirt to actually prevent the water from expanding it. So they dig out the dirt, but they put some of it back in.
Not very deep either, so.
One of the first questions is going to be, what about your backyard? If you really want a pool, can't you put it in the backyard and maintain?
There's
your
a
10 foot
septic
setback?
tank right there,
Okay.
right in the middle of it. And on the side, the other side, there's the fence, right? That there's even less space on the other side of
Okay.
the street side. So that's literally the only place I have to put it.
So this is just a discussion.
Yeah, of course. That's why
So-
we're here. I talked to SP. She said like, you know, just come to the discussion. We could talk about it and
Well, can we not provide the requisite,
Giving our opinion, so.
yeah,
I mean, since we have nothing to, what you're asking is, can you like to, our opinion on, can you put a pool on this side? The question is yes, you can, but you have a 10-foot setback. So you would have to go through a variance process if you wanted to if you wanted to do the 5 feet.
yeah, and I just technically would like to know if I do go for the variance, if you guys would like okay it, or if I would just be wasting my time. And
So the thing about it is, I don't know if we want to answer that because we do have the 4 points of a variance, and you have to answer them. So you have to be able to convince us and tell us why, what are the special circumstances, conditions, the property, variance? Why is having a pool necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of the substantial property right? Or I shouldn't say that, why is the variance? Yeah. That the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to public welfare. The variance is the minimum variance, which means I'm only asking for 5 feet instead of 7 feet, or 3 feet instead of, basically. So you have to come in and answer those 3 questions.
Okay.
4 questions in order for us to say, whether or not we agree or not, because that's what we sit here for, is when we come for a variance, we have to look at those 4 points and feel that you meet those points, not whether or not you right now
Yeah.
feel sympathetic for you or
no,
something.
no,
like
I'm
that.
not asking for your
Yeah.
sympathy.
So
I
we
just
can't
want to
really
know
give you an answer per se.
if I meet the 4 criteria, then you guys would be not objecting to me putting that pool in.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you have to convince us, each one of us, that you meet those 4 points. Then all we're doing is making a recommendation to the village commission.
Yeah.
And then you have to make those same 4 arguments to the village commission and get a majority of them to agree that you meet all 4.
Okay.
So that's the process.
So now do I do the application for the variance?
I would recommend that
yeah.
you do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Gage, can we provide the requisite denial this evening? Because there is a process where you have to come present, we have to deny it.
Yeah, I
You
knew. I
have to
knew I
come
was gonna
back
get
again,
denied because
present
of the
with the
variance
4
anyway.
points, and then we make a recommendation. So to save a,
Well, it's I mean, if they really want it, they need to, this is not a published permit application. It's a
Yeah.
discussion Item. So I don't really want to vote on something that's not actually been published as a permit application. So we'll
So
take.
initially we wanted
You
to
could
do
actually come and
three- oh.
how is the process for applying for it? When they do the application, they have to they have to pay for it?
They only pay for the $25 to place on the agenda. This is the discussion, but it's for a new pool. So once, let's just say that it receives a pre-approval from you guys, then it'll go to plumbing and electrical. And from electrical to structural, and then our building official is the final approval. Once the building official signs and approve, it does take us an additional 1 to 2 business days to invoice the permit. Then we'll call you for payment and pick up.
So the answer is, and to Ed's point, is that you would next time come in and you pay the $25 fee to be placed on the agenda. We will do the process of denying it. If, that's the way the board's going to go at the time, which I think it's the way the code is. So you've invested $25 into a permit application. At that point, when it's denied, it's not going to go on further to any other trades.
So is he gonna go for variance? Can
Then
he-
he'll have to apply for a
But
variance.
I thought, because when I wanted to apply for the permit the first time around, and she says, no, you'd have to come to the board first. I could have done the permit application a week ago, 2
I mean, I
weeks
think
ago.
the advice you were given about coming and speaking to the board.
To
is
get
always
counsel
good
from
advice.
Yeah.
the board,
We
yes.
want to be able to speak to you like this. It's a matter of 2 weeks, and then at that time, you can also apply, you can actually come in with the variance application.
Could,
and
could,
all of your things ready, so we could deny the permit, and then we could immediately.
Okay,
consider the
that's cool.
variance.
Very cool.
can he apply for the variance and the permit at the same time?
Yeah, no, I don't think this is bad.
Okay,
Okay, so we could,
This
okay.
is more of a procedural thing right now.
right.
So let's just stay with.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't want them coming twice more for the inevitable. So if they can do the denial and the variance application at the next hearing, then.
I
it's all the
appreciate
same.
that. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Great.
okay,
We'll
so
do
the
So
that.
I'll
next,
come and see you tomorrow, I guess?
yes, yes, the
Great.
next meeting, yeah, come and see me tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
You're
So let's
welcome.
discuss one more thing, okay? So we have on discussion A, PRBP LLC 11636 Northeast Seventh Avenue variance recommendation. So, so the reason before we get to your variance, let's just talk about one thing. You two share a wall, you share a piece of a building that's non-complying to both of you. So when he goes to get a new building, he's gonna have to bring down his side. Is there a wall between the two? Is it stuccoed on either side so that if it is removed, I mean, what divides the two properties? So there's nothing that's gonna affect your structure? Okay, Sep, you might want to ask him, stuck to the one side? Okay. Okay, that's what I just wanted to understand, because I don't know what's inside of there. Interesting, considering we just had this discussion earlier with the guy wanting to split his lot, and that's interesting that they were able to. Yeah. Really? Okay. Because then you can maintain yours until there's a point where you have to rebuild it or it falls down, then. Okay. Okay. And then when he takes off the side, it's not going to affect the roof? Okay. Okay, so then that's settled for us. Okay. So you're good and we can talk about your variant, unless you want to hang out and listen to his variance. Thank you.
But just to be clear, you're supportive of the variance request? Yeah, I mean, this is your neighbor, right? Okay.
Okay. All right, so we took care of that. Okay, so that's good. So thank you. Okay, while they talk, let's I have minutes from September 20th, 2021. Everybody's had a chance to look at them.
They seem fine.
Thank you. I'll take a motion on the minutes. Motion on the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Ed, a second?
Sure.
Okay. And say aye, aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Okay, so let's go back up to your original one. Building JPRBP LLC 967 Northeast 117th Street. This is demolition. And also KBRP LLC 967 Northeast 117th Street, new construction. So do I add that over here? That's over here. This is, and this is.
Yeah,
We're
I
talking
think the
about
renderings are in our
17th
package.
Street, right?
967.
Ninth or 10th Avenue? Ninth or 10th Avenue, where is this?
It's on 10th.
10th.
Is this the little flat roof house?
Yes. Little mid-century.
Shame. Sweet house.
So what's the, what are we,
So,
what are we considering now?
so we have the,
This is just a straight new construction application. This is not the variance.
The variance is 11638.
Just curious, is this being built for an end user or is this a spec house? Got it. So you have to build it and sell it, right? Okay, just curious. I mean, it doesn't affect my decision. I was just curious for my own.
Yeah, it looks like you're taking 10 feet to the structure, but not the pool.
Just leave it. Just close it. Just close it.
you're bullish on Biscayne Park, that's all I can say.
Leave it.
I'm just putting this as, it's actually a discussion. And well, it's the first reading basically of the, because we always require 3. So we're not voting on it. So it really was a discussion today. All right. He's got, whenever he's ready to resubmit, he's got 2 more. He'll come back for 1 more and then come back another one for the actual vote. So there's 3 reviews by the board prior to an actual vote. Yes. The first time we've seen it. So that being said, now we'll discussion A, PRBP LLC, 11636 Northeast 7th Avenue, variance recommendation.
Under the variance?
So you're not applying for variance right now, you're just discussing it, right? Oh, we have plans over there? Is that those plans there?
There's like a single plan. Yeah, I think so, because he came in for his denial last time,
You know, I
two,
know, but
two
if-
times ago.
Would it be under discussion? So we're actually discussing a variance request for PRB LLC 11636. Okay, so that being said,
I mean, is that his understanding? Did he come here for a discussion?
you're actually wanting,
He came here for variance. I put it under.
Yeah, okay, so he wants to be voted on. He's been here a bunch of times already. He
no,
wants.
I
to-
agree, but I'm
Yeah,
just
okay.
it's in the wrong part of the agenda.
Yeah. Where you want whatever, our recommendation to deny or approve, but you want to move on, right? So,
So you're looking for a variance for the 75 feet, for 70 to 75, 75 to 70. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing on drawing, you're still maintaining a 20-foot front setback here. You're showing a 30 from the street.
What, while you're there, Gage, also the lot coverage is in excess of 50%, so he'd be going for 3 variances right now. More than 60 something. As long as you maintain it. But he's creating a- But he has an issue with the lot coverage. You're way. No, it's total lot coverage. Maximum lot coverage. It doesn't say house, it says everything. It says driveway, pool. So you have a big problem right there. You gotta come back. Can we continue discussing it though? Because there may be other things that come back in 2 weeks, then we hammer you on. So rather kind of get out what our concerns are now so that if you have the opportunity while you're fixing lot coverage, that's other things.
So another question would be that, what is the height you're building it at? 'Cause I see a big ramp there to that front door. They're gonna be up high.
But the elevation is what's the base flood elevation of the house that you're proposing?
I mean, the existing house has a set of steps that is approximately that amount. Look it up. So you submitted this report last time that I have to say it's a bit vague, right? The first 3/4 of it are basically just kind of describing why he's there doing, that he's been hired to, retain to investigate this and then it goes on to say, the house is in a state of disrepair, as will be detailed further in the following, and then there is no following. There are just photos, right? So if you actually look at the report.
Do we have a copy of it here?
Is it in that package? Otherwise, I can find it.
It looks at the back, yeah, it's Ganem Consulting Engineering.
Oh, it's actually in this application again. Yeah. So he says. Let's get to it. He writes, pictures were taken to record and show all components of the residence. Because of the inspection, we found several areas that are affected by corrosion, settlement, lack of maintenance, including but not limited to walls, beams, eyebrow, and slab. These conditions will be explained in further detail on the following items. But then after that, there's just photos. There's no further explanation of what I'm looking at in the photo, other than the obvious that it looks in bad shape, right? And then he makes this determination that it's unsafe and not economically or structurally repairable. So it would be helpful to talk to your engineer to say, maybe you can elaborate on what you're showing in these. And I'm also prepping you for the next phase of this, when you're asking the city commissioners to weigh in, that they're gonna look at these pictures and say, well, I don't know what I'm looking at, right? And what does this mean, right? The other thing is, so I was looking at a photo of this house on Google Earth, and the latest photo on Google Street View is like 2015, right? And the house looked great. Had like pretty much a brand new roof on it, looked freshly painted, like did not look anywhere near what these photos. It looked like someone was living there. There was a car parked in front. We have this phenomenon in Miami Beach where a lot of people want to. They basically call it like demolition by right. So people, they don't want to deal with historic preservation or some board telling them the house there, so they just let it fall into a state where a structural engineer eventually comes in and says this building can't be saved anymore. Now, you've only owned it since 2020. It looks like 3 investors before you. So I'm not saying that you let it get to this state, but somehow in the span of 5 to 6 years, it went from looking fairly decent to looking like it was like fake. So we're being asked to kind of accept this report that says it's unsound and unsafe, but also because someone kind of let it get to that. Again, may not be you because you've only owned it for a year or so.
The interesting thing is, I mean, you saw the pictures of the interior, right? There's no floor. It's all rock.
Yeah, so that's not natural in 5, 6 years. Someone
Yeah.
gutted it. But again, it's changed hands. So I'm not blaming you. What I'm saying is there's a reservation to just accept that, hey, this thing really is disrepair. The engineer's report is a bit lacking in detail. Clearly was neglected for a number of years, and not beyond that, actually gutted by someone at some point.
Historic, right?
No, it's just the phenomenon of kind of letting something fall into disrepair, so that you get an engineer to tell you that can't save it. Right?
But the interesting thing is that it's actually, if you look at the pictures on the interior, it's all concrete block walls. And it's interesting that they just testified to the garage and how well it's built, the concrete block walls. It's really, what we advised you before, if you could somehow salvage some of this, you wouldn't have to go through the variance process. If you could maintain the walls, over 50%, and incorporate it into your design, you know.
What-
You have chosen to go down the variance route, which is your right. And that's why you're here. So, but, you know, Ed made a good point, you know, it's,
Now, on the other hand, look, you have this garage structure on the property line. Clearly itself non-conforming by the adjacency to a property line, and your plan is to get rid of that, right? So you're in some sense bringing some aspects of the property into.
He's making it
I
less
think we can all agree
non-conforming,
that a
right?
house that's Little to no architecture, pretty unattractive.
Just a box.
You're not demoing a historically significant project 100%, right? So there are some kind of positive aspects to the idea of letting you move forward with clearly your neighbors.
but you realize that we like the way it is.
I was gonna say, by the same
So
token,
when you say it has a lot of potential, it scares a lot of people because we like our small, low density neighborhood. And it scares us when we hear developers wanting to come in and build houses, you know. It's but there's a quality of life. I mean, that's a really nice argument, but like, I moved here 20 years ago because it's a small, quiet little town. Not because we were building big houses to support our tax base, so we can get a few more police officers. You know, I like my little quiet town that I moved to. So building bigger houses for economic reasons, the park it's not, you know, not a good argument to make.
Yeah, again, Gage is helping you because if you go to the commissioners and that's your argument, that's exactly what they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about everyone coming in and, you know, eyeing this as a land grab and putting up $1 million homes and all that. So focus on the fact that what's there is in a bad state, is an eyesore. No one's gonna do anything else with it. So let me improve that lot, right? So now to me, this all comes down to that last part of the variance thing, which is this the least, you know,
Minimal variance.
the minimum kind of request, right? So yeah, you're asking for a small variance in a sense, right? The 75 to 70, but the house, right? So it's one story, you've got that kind of right, but it's again, a huge house, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bath, placing a 3-1, right? So you're really trying to like maximize the footprint. I mean, right now you're over the lot coverage, so you may end up having to come down on a bedroom just when you fix that problem. But I think I'd be inclined on a personal level to recommend the variance because I don't think what's there has any, you know, salvageable characteristics. But I think, and I have no problem with a beautiful modern home. I just think you're trying to put a lot of density on that lot, overbuild these lots, and that's something we're concerned about. So I think if you were willing to relook at the number of bedrooms and baths in that house, maybe it would be more say yes, it makes sense. But 4.5 just feels like you're cramming, you know, you're overbuilding that lot. That's my opinion. Everyone's had other things, but and again, you have no choice right now because unless you have 2 variances, and then you're really setting yourself up for failure. So yeah, it's just the building, etc. But it's more. Yeah, unfortunately Skip didn't, know what he was, potentially didn't know where he was leading you with that comment, but
But it was also, I read that report. It wasn't an order to demolish it. He pretty much said you need to consider tearing it down. It wasn't like a stationary of this Village of Biscayne Park. You must tear down this house.
Listen,
It was more of a building official observation type of thing. I actually like the house. I think it's 1 story. I appreciate the fact that you're doing 1 stories and not coming with these monster 2 houses, which I think blends into our neighborhood, which is what we kind of want in our neighborhood. We don't want all of a sudden we start having these big houses on our lots. So I appreciate that. And if you need to reduce it, like to get it down to 50%, that's great. I just kind of think that I'm running into is you're taking an existing structure and tearing it down. Even though it is unsafe, it's opening a can of worms for all the other non-conforming lots that are on that street. The guy, Mr. Cohen, his lot is probably non-conforming. And it's going to be, okay, now the next person wants a variance and the next person wants a variance. And that's where and I can't consider that in considering it, obviously. I have to consider your case. My thing is you're taking a structure and not even attempting to incorporate any of it into the property to make it continue, to make it work, I guess. So, any other comment?
No, I would just say, I would certainly look. I think that the comments that you're hearing tonight are only going to help you get this accomplished in terms of what you want to do. I say that not because we're trying to help you make an argument to do it. I say that because you brought up some points that we've clearly expressed to you are not really going to help you in any way, whether it's skip or whether it's economic development. You have an existing structure that's, dilapidated. You have an existing non-conforming lot that you didn't create. And you want to try and do the best you can with that lot. That's what you're attempting to do. I don't know. I certainly would fix the coverage issue. I don't think you need to do that. Maybe it's whether you eliminate the garage or maybe you change the way the pool deck is or whatever it might be. But I think, as you said, that's fixable. And then at that point, the only thing you're actually requesting a variance for is the one thing you didn't create. And I think that's something that I can wrap my head around. Like, you didn't create a 70-foot lot. And you're trying to do the best you can with it. Whether or not this becomes maybe you do such a good job with this that this becomes something that actually, on a case-by-case basis, we can consider. But, like as the chair said, every project is different, every property is different. I'm not so worried about the precedent. And I think what you're doing is great. I mean, you're taking a big gamble, a huge financial risk on Biscayne Park. You're counting on us and the commission to support you in that venture, because obviously you need us all to help you. I think it's, in general, with my comments to you, I'm very supportive of what you're trying to do. I think the structure there is it's functionally obsolete to me, and what you're proposing to do is what I think would be a very good use for this property in terms of letting it go forward for another 100 years. So, but just focus on the things that matter in your discussions with it, and obviously you can deal with the things that you have in front of you that you can
So
fix.
we're gonna send this because you're gonna withdraw it because of the size. It's too big. Because your only intention is the 75 feet. That's all you're asking for variance. So right now, because the plans are that, we're gonna withdraw this. So you get to come back to see us again. You've been very nice, I have to say. Thank you. You've been very cooperative. We love that. And I don't want to make it poo-poo like, don't build in Biscayne Park. We love to see the improvement, but we're just a little scared sometimes. So.
And I
think it's great.
In my experience, you're going to find a much more difficult audience with the commissioners, in my opinion, because there have been a number of variance requests that have been denied that I felt should have been approved personally. So they're not, they're just disinclined to grant variances as a blanket policy because it's a slippery slope, right? So you need to do everything you can to show that you've, jumped through hoops to kind of minimize the impact. I think we've given you plenty of advice, but.
Just so you know, if we had not discovered that you're over 50%, we would have continued on with this application and voted on the variance tonight. So there. Yeah, I mean, I think, we have a lot of design professionals and on the board too. So I don't know if you need to go through all the hoops of the architect, but it is nice. It is nice. Thank you.
No problem. See you again.
I'm sorry, what's your first name? Thank you, Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah, and
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You too. Good luck.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
okay, halfway through.
Okay.
If, Ms. Gage, do you guys have quorum if I leave or no?
We would still have three. Yeah, we would still have quorum.
You could still get through issues? Okay.
Tonight, there's a discussion item I added, and actually, Sandra, I'd like to have you discuss it, and if you want to, we can take it up, and
Mhm.
I think it's very relevant to what we had tonight, which I actually did not plan the agenda item because of what was happening tonight. So, the P and Z, normally we for years have kind of just tell us what to vote on and we vote on it. We haven't really been an activist or I still don't want us to be an activist board, but we are being consulted on things like driveways and things like that we see are potential problems with the park. Okay. I think that what's happening on Fifth Avenue is something that not a lot of people are noticing or not looking at, is that in Sector C, people divide their lots 6,000 square feet and build duplexes.
Where is Sector C?
Sector C, which is the 10th Avenue East. It kind of notches out a little bit up by your house. And not that, by nature of conforming, there you have it now. So we actually, Sector C of our code says detached, one family or two family structure. So we have an issue that Sector C, somebody could divide a lot and build two duplexes. Not even just divide a lot and build one house. And they are being allowed to do it. It's kind of a big thing, but I was wondering if we might want to discuss, and we can consider it, is maybe recommending that we remove duplex out of that zone.
Look, my perspective on this has been, clear for a long time. I think that duplexes should be an existing non-conforming use in the park. I think that we should do what we can to, over time, regulate them out of the park, because there's too many situations where there's, 10 cars in front of a house and absentee owners that aren't maintaining the properties the right way. I mean, I look at Biscayne Park as a single family home community. I never looked at it as a multifamily community. And, I anything we could do that would just.
I think that we need to tell people they can't have it. Like, you own it, it's your property, we can't take away a person's property right.
No.
But if the next person, it has to come into compliance with.
I think the way it would work.
It could stay a duplex.
Yeah.
I guess definitely until somebody decides to tear it
Yeah,
down.
it would be basically,
We don't want people to tear it down and build a bigger duplex.
no, it would be,
Divide the lot and build two.
like, you remember the guy that had that brought that like Wynwood style project to us? Oh, that's the same guy? With that, remember, he had proposed that huge warehouse looking thing? Containers. Oh, my God. I didn't put two and two together, but yeah. No, look, the bottom line is that if the way it should work is that if number one, there should be a regulation that you cannot build a new duplex in Biscayne Park. Number two, if you do more than, if you have to do more than 50%, of work or whatever it is, of you cross the 50% threshold where it's a substantial work to a duplex, at that point you have to bring it up to code, which means you have to make it a single family home. I think there's a way where you could look at zoning and say, over the next 25 or 30 years, we can dramatically reduce the amount of duplexes in Biscayne Park with proper zoning. And I was actually talking to Commissioner Kennedy about it because I was talking about it and he said, well, do you know how many duplexes are on the park? And I said, no. And he told me, and I was shocked at the percentage of duplexes that we have in this park. It's a very high percentage. And, I think it's something that we have to take a long field of view and have legislation that we say in the next 25, 30, 40 years that over that time period, we will zone this use out of the park just through the attrition of people doing improvements to the properties.
And I agree, but I also, my main concern is buying, building a.
So we should, I think the code should say that you can't build.
Two duplexes on his lot.
I think the code should say that there's no, yeah. I don't think we should be, knowing the percentage of duplexes we have in the park. I think that the code should say that you're no longer allowed to build a duplex in the park, period, and that the existing duplexes are existing non-conforming uses. And then, when these owners get all sorts of violations and whatever they, the tax liens build up and whatever, at that point, it's like, they can, we could have a certificate of use or a certificate of occupancy or permit requirements, then you could literally legislatively regulate the amount of duplexes. And I think if you did it the right way in the next, however many years, and it's not a taking, you're not eliminating somebody's property value, because you can certainly argue that single family homes here have tremendous property value. Look what Rodrigo's doing. I mean, he's spending over $1 million building homes. That's his cost.
But my point is, I mean, I live east of 10, so I live in the duplex zone. I have a single family home. I can take my single family home down, put a duplex on it. In our code, and our code does not stop us from doing that. So I don't want us to vote. I'm not voting. I just want to start a discussion, because they're actually coming in front of us next week to talk about the McMansion. I think that if we're going to do the McMansion thing, that this is something that might.
I think this is way, to me, I mean, my feeling is that the clear and present danger is this issue. It's not McMansions, but I'm happy to give and take. I think that what I do fear is what I was listening to tonight, because I
also have, I have duplexes all around me that are well maintained. They have parking lots, everything. I don't personally have a problem with duplexes. They pay taxes, they pay waste fees, they pay everything that we do. It's not like it's a bunch of hoodlums living in it, because somebody owns it and has to pay taxes on it. So as long as we're not tearing them down and building bigger ones, just start thinking about, let your brain start.
ultimately though, you or anybody else who lives on your street would, the difference between living next to homeowners and living next to renters, could have an effect on your quality of life, and could certainly have a real effect on the value of your property. It's a difference between, whole fee simple home ownership versus, a rental property. And it's just, it drags it down.
I mean, I'm not interested in forcing people out. I'm just saying that we need to cap that we have now, and the goal is to start reducing them.
Yeah.
Stop the expansion of it, because the thing is that the developers don't know about it. What do you think is going to happen when they start realizing, oh, I can buy that 10,000 square foot lot? But the thing is, then the caveat is that you can't sell it as 2 units. It's a duplex. It has to be sold as 1 unit. You have to get two owners. You have to get one owner that wants to buy a duplex. Now, we don't have condos in this department. They're shared property, whatever. But
Find buyers who want to buy duplexes.
exactly, bigger duplexes that have pools and second story. So that's why I brought this up, because I think it seems like three of the people, man, you haven't had a chance to comment yet of what your opinion is.
My opinion is, I'm afraid of those, you don't know what is gonna be sold. And also the, tenant. So what about you later on, they want to build like a two-story? You see all these little lots, two-story house. A lot of. And over time, not very long. That's what I'm quite afraid of. That's the beauty of these buildings. I get a 60,000 even alone. The whole
But on the duplex issue though, where do you fall on that one? What we're talking about with the duplex?
Yeah, with the duplexes, it's exactly the way you say, like, if they buy it and they split those lots, and they can build two. That's gonna be a two-story, two-story.
Go from 2 cars to 4 cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess your street may be better, but my exposure is 119th Street. And 119th Street between, 9th and 10th, it's sort of a madhouse.
Duplex.
It-
I mean, I live on, right next to 11. But I'm bringing it up because I agree. I think we should watch future duplexes. So I wanted to have it a discussion. I want everybody to kind of want it.
Could we make could we make a motion to request the commission to take up, maybe to consider, or take up this issue? I mean, what would be our next step? How does it get from this discussion to something that actually happens?
Well, what would happen is that we would put it on the agenda for next time. Actually put it on the agenda as discussion of land development regarding duplexes. We would come up with some language. Maybe just strike the word two-family from the code and send it as a memo to the village commission and have them say, hey, this is the planning board has made recommendations that based on McMansion, this is something that needs to be considered at this time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, if that works, that's great.
I think this is getting the ball rolling and comes from this. I have a feeling that a lot of commissioners probably
I think they don't, I think probably like myself and other developers, like, aren't even aware. I think anyone that can go, you can still build a duplex here. I think they'll be as eager to close that loophole, so to speak.
That's right there on table A. So, all right. So, Sandra, if you need to take off, okay, that's.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so
Just got college applications and my 17-year-old with November 1st deadline blowing up my phone.
okay, so Sandra is going to leave the meeting. So we're moving on to Building C, Columbres, 750 Northeast 115th Street, door. Replace one door. A lot of paperwork for one door. Front door.
Yeah, front door to a glass French door. Don't see a color, but
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ed and Manny. Motion carries.
Yeah, well, we haven't started yet, but probably next one. Sales, yeah. Sales were doing really well.
So I'll have to have you over. Sandra, if you want to just, I don't think it's been announced yet too, if you want to share your news.
So I've requested that the commission please look for another planning board member to replace me. I have pledged that I will continue to serve until such time that somebody can replace me, but I've requested that that happen ahead of my term. I term out in, I think, July of 22. So when they can get somebody new, then at that point I'll stay on for a meeting or two, and then I'll step down. But I don't want to leave anybody in a lurch. So I'll be here until my full term if I need to be. But that's my plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Xander. Sorry to see you go. All right, you're not gone yet, but you know what I mean. The next one is 750 Northeast 115th Street for a flat roof, Columbres.
Yeah. Like
It's just a flat roof in the back.
flat roof in the back, standard built-up system. Make a motion to approve.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Next is, I guess, Building M, Ward 959 Northeast 115th Street, fence and gates.
What about Gerstein shutters? Did we do that?
I have it checked off. Did we do that? We didn't? Oh,
We did some shutters, but not theirs.
okay, sorry, 750 Northeast 117th Street for shutters, Gerstein.
I mean, in shutters, it's basic, straightforward. It's a little strange because it's kind of random 3 openings. I don't know what the story with all the other openings are, but
Yeah, we're just, shutters.
but it's shutters.
A motion, please.
I second that.
Favor say aye. Aye. Okay, so next would be Ward 959 Northeast 115th Street, fence and gates. Well, 2 new white aluminum double they're on each side. They're not, one's in the back, one's in the front.
So the code for a fence allows a maximum of a 5-foot pedestrian gate. We say, hey, it's a pair of 5-foot gates and that's okay. And
It's a pedestrian gate in the front. Pedestrian gate in the front setback, not a fence on the side. These are side gates. So they added when the, yeah. Yeah, some people they wanted to have a little gate in the front.
yeah,
so-
understood. Okay. I read that to be this sort of scenario, but okay.
Yeah, no, it's just in the front yard.
So it's white, 1/2-inch gaps, aluminum,
tall.
6 foot. Motion to approve.
Okay, second.
M as in Michael. Yeah, Ward.
Letter M, Ward. Nobody was here for Ward. I
Yeah.
have it right here,
Yeah, we hadn't done that.
959, right here. Next is Building R, Savetskia, 11021 Northeast 9th Court after the
So
fact.
this is an interesting one.
So we looked at Rodriguez, which was an addition, and then we looked at Nunez for pavers, which was the 30 inches.
Yeah, the
30
pavers.
inches. What do you see, Ed? What's wrong here?
Well, just, so this is a fence, but it's a duplex property, so it's in the middle of the backyard.
Okay.
It's climbable, which we discourage, but I don't know if we, the climbability issue is usually when you're separating your property from outside of your property. This is a gate down the middle of their own backyard in the middle.
How do you see it climbable? What's
Do you see the image of the gate? It's a ladder.
oh, yeah.
But it's not on the perimeter, right? It's not keeping anyone out or in.
It's
their
just
property.
separating
It's
the two.
dividing their own. So, not sure.
Lord, and they
how
looks like
we-
they spent some money on this thing too.
Psychological idea that people
Yeah. And I'm not sure, I mean, I guess it,
going
their
over.
tenants wanted their own backyards. I don't know. I don't know how we approach this.
Um, I think you're right. It's not it's not around the perimeter. We're not dividing any pools from each other.
It's just not, it's a fence, right? And the fence in the code doesn't distinguish whether it's.
Yeah.
But it's because the expectation is you only ever putting a fence along the perimeter, not down the middle of your backyard, but.
I mean, I would be.
After us, for something like this, it's after the fact, obviously, but would they be, if we approve it from a zoning aesthetic point of view, is it then looked at by building to see how it was built, if it's sturdy, if it's safe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because those horizontal,
What is it made of?
look pretty,
Is it wood?
it's hard to say. It looks like wood, but they look like round. I don't know. It looks kind of rickety. But. maybe it's just a photo. I mean, it's got, in their package, they have a standard wood fence detail, but clearly that's not what's there, so.
Because if that was wood, it would do some serious sagging between those.
Well, and it already looks like there's some kind of sagging in those rods.
We
I mean-
table it for more info? Or do we want to? I mean,
Or do we want to punt and let the building department deal with it?
well, it's just, there's a part of me that says, okay, it's just a divider of a yard that it has a perimeter fence around it. But then the non-climbable part, because they're asking for a fence, it's kind of like, well, we can't make an exception for one and force it on another kind of thing. Then the question is what is it? What is it?
All we're doing is that we would doing is approving the permit.
But it's,
Gage is saying if we call it a fence, but we ignore what zoning code says about fences, which is that they can't be climbable, then the next person comes along and says, well, I saw her fence, looks just like this, why can't I have that fence? It's a gray area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, is it a fence? Is it more a landscape feature? What is it?
yeah, I mean, I'm almost like, is it a decorative
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah, right?
We have to really want.
I rely on your 20+ years of.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if we said we approve a decorative screen, I would say, okay, let's go for it, because it meets all the standard setbacks of it all. I just feel,
The shame of it is that it's an after the fact thing, right? If this person had come for an approval, this discussion would have been had in advance, and maybe they do something different, or, the problem that we're having is a consequence of them doing work without a permit.
so let's just deny
The
it.
burden on us to deal with this,
Okay, then we deny it, and we want. And maybe at that time, we can convince them that it's a decorative screen.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to deny the fact, deny it based on that it's climbable and our.
And also, we don't know what it's made of. Is it metal? Is it wood? Is it? What is it?
Okay, motion to deny.
Denied because it's climbable and what is the material? We don't know what the material is. Next is going to be the same, Savatsky, 11021 north, 111023 northeast 9th court windows. Okay, replace no 16 windows by impact glass. Bronze with clear glass, horizontal rollers with single hung being number 6.
Yeah, it's on the sides only at the baths, nothing in the front.
Okay.
So. Motion to approve?
This is S,
Yes, item S.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, next, Boyajin. Okay, we got a lot of like Slavic names here tonight. Or Russian, Boyajian. Okay, 11400 Griffin Boulevard, re-roof, flat and tile. Color is Sierra Madre.
Sounds like
Sounds like a terracotta.
yeah, exactly. I guess it's a barrel.
It's an S tile.
Yeah.
And they're doing all the roof and the flat. I think good. So Sierra Madre is bright pink. Put down with it.
Make a motion, Manny, do the honors? Second?
Favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Sandra left the meeting. You noted that, right?
yes.
Okay, next will be building U de Pazo, 11600 Northeast 9th Avenue, re-roof flat. What is this?
That's the deposit.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Re-roof the flat with self-adhesive polyglass system. They're just doing the back.
Yeah, I mean, they're a corner lot, so it's kind of like the side. Or no, they're not a corner.
But the structure's already there.
Yeah, it's just re-roofing. I was just trying to see where it was relative, because it's kind of a strange, like it's from the street, you're looking at two roofs. But again, it's already there. They're just replacing it, so.
Motion.
Second?
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Rajic, okay, another slide. The Russians are here. 11702
They're
North
all coming in for roofs.
roof.
This one's a metal roof.
Re-roof metal. Okay, there we go.
So the color is this Drex Loom, which we've had some debate about in the past, but ultimately we approved the previous applicant.
That's the one that's kind of like non-colored, but it's kind
Kind
of
of like
silvery.
silvery, yeah. He's got the overhang as 12.5.
So
5-to-1 pitched roof.
5-to-1, what is that?
I think that's it. Anything over 4-to-1 is 12, right?
That's not combined, except for the
I believe that's correct.
construction.
Yeah, anything in excess of 4-to-1 is 12-inch overhang.
So we have,
So he's got that, and then I don't see a fascia
can
dimension.
y'all pull up this picture of this house? I didn't see it. I didn't look at it prior.
Sure.
117027 Seventh Avenue. That's right over here. And the thing is also we need to know the fascia has to be 6 inches.
Yeah, it doesn't have a fascia dimension in this package. I didn't see it at least. Doesn't necessarily look like a 5-to-1 pitched roof, but I don't know. You know, it has an overhang. That's the overhang, just doesn't, the pitch doesn't look 5-to-1, but. Yeah, and I think the package kind of, I think there's a drawing in the package, but. Doesn't really tell you, but. Yeah, I mean, in the fascia, seems like it's at least 6 inches.
So could we just approve it based on the that it's just that they confirm that it has a 6-inch fascia?
Sure. So a motion to approve, as long as they confirm they've got a minimum 6-inch fascia.
And are you good with that? Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There was Darte. The window was, the tile replacement was approved 4-0, approved. Ed and Sander. And then the other one, the pool, okay. Okay, finally, it's Torres. 12005 Northeast 7th Avenue, re-roof tile. Wow. Re-roof tile, Doral, Saxony 900, color dark charcoal blend. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's good to me.
Like if they're doing the entire roof, there's no flat roof, so. Second. Say aye. Carries. All right, we've done all the discussions.
I have a question, Jake. I know it's late, but on interpretation of setback for corner lots.
Yes.
So I had asked you a long time ago, because in the chart in the back, there's no delineation of nothing, no reference to corner, right? You just got front, rear, side, right?
Yes.
And then at the time, I think you had deferred me to the definition.
Yes.
So if I go to definitions and I see lot lines front, right? It says in the case of a corner lot not occupied by a building, blah, blah, forget that, I don't care. In the case of a corner lot occupied by a building,
Give me a number.
section 2.2.39,
39, okay.
lot lines front. It's the third sentence. In the case of a corner lot occupied by a building, the front lot line shall be determined by the location of the front door to the dwelling, right? If I go to 2.2.41, lot line side, it says, the second sentence, a side lot line separating a lot from a street is an exterior side lot line. So the only time you'd have a side lot line separating you from a street is a corner lot, right? So when I read that, to me, corner lots have only one front. They have an interior side and an exterior side. And therefore, on the exterior side, which is whatever side doesn't have the front door, would be a side line, and therefore 10-foot setback, not a 30.
Okay, so, but pop up to 2.2.37.
Lot.
Last sentence, a lot having two such frontages under lot 2.2.37 shall be known as a dual frontage.
Yeah, but I don't know what they mean by two such frontages. What's that? What are the such frontages they're
A,
referring
par-
to?
a parcel of land fronting a street, place,
Way,
way, or waterway, which is or may be occupied by a building, its accessory units, including the open space, blah, blah, blah. So it's a parcel of land fronting a street. So, and then a lot having two such frontages, either
But
will
this
be
would-
known as dual frontage.
Yeah, but that would apply then, okay, so if
So that could be somebody with a waterway behind.
Yeah, we don't do that. We consider that a rear. I don't know. Chew on it, but if I read, in my view, 2.239 and 2.241, it feels very clear that a corner lot would have a front lot line determined by where the door is, and a side lot line, either an interior side lot line, which is when they face the neighbor, or an exterior side lot line, which is when they face the street. But it would still be a side, just be called the exterior side, interior side.
Yeah, but an exterior side and a side front could be the same thing, right?
No, because it's defining here what's a front, what's a rear, what's a side. That's the purpose of these sections, right? Telling you
yeah.
what a front lot line is, what a rear lot line is, and what a side lot line is.
Okay.
And it says a side lot line separating lot from a street, which again, would only happen on a corner lot, is an exterior side lot line. Okay. So I don't know.
I mean, I will research because I'm,
Yeah.
not whatever.
I know we've always enforced that 30 on the side, but I
But
really don't.
But if you look at also the park, every corner lot lines up this way and lots of them up that way.
No, I hear you. I mean, I'm
So
just
it is something
looking at
that's,
what it says here. I read it differently. But maybe if you've got time between the next meeting to look at it.
I think about it, I will. So, further business? Good. So we meet again in tonight, 16th?
18th, Monday, October 18th.
Motion to adjourn, please. Second?
Second.
Okay, motion adjourned at 9:45. Okay, everybody turn their things off.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot on the agenda tonight. And a lot of, not just simple things, some complicated gray areas tonight. Just a simple observation. In 2019, one property sold for over $1 million, right? Close it. 2021, October, 5 properties that sold for over $1 million. One of which sold for 2.25 million, right? Dreams house. And you've got 4 currently listed for over $1 million. So if they all 4 close before the end of the year, you'd have 9 properties this year. 1,